The cost to manufacture X light bulbs is given by this function C of x, which is given as C of x equals 7500 plus square root of 125x. And in part A, we have to determine the average rate of change of weekly cost of manufacturing from 100 to 150 light bulbs. So let's see how to determine this average rate of change. For a function f of x, the average rate of change, which is written shortly as A or OC, and this equals f of b minus of f of a over b minus a. Suppose if the function is defined over the interval a comma b. So this is the formula that we will utilize. So first let's identify the a and b for this part A question. So clearly this 100 is a and this 150 is b. So for the cost function, the average rate of change of weekly cost, I write down this as A or OC, and this equals, we have this cost function. So C of B is 150. So I write down C of 150 minus of C of 100, which is A, divided by B minus A, which is 150 minus of A is 100. So we now determine this equation. So I'm going to replace x by 150 to determine one c of 150, as well as replace x by 100 to determine c of 100. So let's do that. Let me copy this cost function over here. The cost function is 7500 plus 125 root x. Okay, so we will now determine this formula, that is C of 150, which is we have to replace x by 150 into this function. So therefore it becomes 7500 plus 125 times of 150 minus, we now find C of 100. So I put a bracket, that is 7500 plus 125 times of 100 under the root, divided by 150 minus 100 is 50. Let's simplify this. So this equals 7500 plus, we can plug this into the calculator, and when we do that we get 18,750. I'm now going to distribute the minus into the terms inside the brackets. So therefore this will become negative of 7500 minus 125 times 1000 is 125. 125 times 100 is 12500, which is 12 1 to 500 under the root, divided by 50. We see that we can cancel this 7500. We have 7500 negative 7500, these two getting cancelled. We now plug these values into the calculator. That is, we plug this expression 18,750 minus 12,750 over 50. And when we do that, we get the value as 0.50. This is rounded to two decimal places. And the unit of this average rate of change is dollars per light bulb. Since the cost is in dollars and x represents the amount number of the light bulbs, so this is the unit of this answer. So therefore we say that the average rate of change of light weekly cost is equals $0.50 per light bulb. We now determine the instantaneous rate of change of weekly cost for 125 light bulbs. So for a function f of x, the instantaneous rate of change of this function f of x is given by f prime of x, that is the derivative of the function. So for this cost function, the instantaneous rate of change of the cost function is given as c prime of x, which is the derivative of this function c of x. And to determine the instantaneous rate of change of weekly cost for 125 bulbs, we have to find c prime of, we have to replace x by 125. So therefore, this becomes c prime of 125. So we have to determine c prime of 125 to determine the instantaneous rate of change of weekly cost for 125 light bulbs. So first, we will find c prime of x, which is the first derivative of the cost function. So I'm going to rewrite this cost function using the exponent notation. So we can write down this c of x, and this equals 7500 plus this 125 I write down as root of 125, and then the root x can be written as x raised to the power of 1 by 2. Now we will find the derivative of this cost function, so which is equivalent to c prime of x. We have to find the derivative of each of the terms. Derivative of 7500, which is a constant, is 0. So I put 0 here. And this is a constant, 125. So you can write down as it is. And then multiplied with the derivative of x raised to the power of 125. We use the power rule here. So therefore, this becomes 1 by 2 x raised to the power of 1 by 2 minus 1. We can simplify this, that is 1 by 2 minus 1, and this equals 1 by 2 minus of 2 by 2, which equals 1 minus 2 by 2, and this equals negative 1 by 2. So this expression x raised to the power of 1 by 2 minus 1 by minus 1 is basically x raised to the power of negative half. I'm going to replace it here. So this equals x raised to the power of negative half. We will simplify this x raised to the power of negative half. I'm going to do it here. X raised to the power of negative half can be first written as 1 over x raised to the power of positive half, and then we rewrite this x raised to the power of positive half as basically root x. So therefore, this can be written as 1 over root x. Let me write this. Maybe I can write down in the next step. So therefore, the c prime of x basically equals, we have 125 root in the numerator divided by 2 times of this x raised to the power of negative half, we return as 1 over root x. So therefore, this becomes root x. So this is the simplified expression for the first derivative of the cost function. And now we have to find c prime of 125, which means we replace x by 125 into this expression. So therefore, this becomes c prime of 125 equals root 125 divided by 2 times of replace x by 125. This becomes square root of 125. We see that we can cancel this under the root 25, 125, and under the root 125. These two get cancelled, and finally we get the value as 1 by 2, and this equals 0.50 in decimal. So this is the instantaneous rate of change of the weekly cost for 125 bulbs. And let's write down this in units. So therefore, this equals, the cost is measured in dollars. So therefore, it is dollars per light bulb. And this is the instantaneous rate of change of weekly cost for 125 light bulbs.